When we talk about the origins about ambient music, there's one name that really stands out above the rest. You got Brian Eno, and more specifically, one album, Ambient 1, Music for Airports. This album was released in 1978. This record didn't just introduce a new sound, it introduced an entirely new way to think about music. In fact, Eno himself coined the term ambient music, which, with this release, helping it formally define a genre that had been only loosely explored before. So what made Music for Airports so revolutionary? First, it was the intention behind it. It wasn't music meant to dominate your attention, like, pop songs or a symphony. Instead, Eno envisioned a type of music that could either, blend seamlessly into your environment or stand up to close listening, whichever you needed in that moment. He famously described ambient music as something that is as ignorable as it is interesting. That dual nature became a defining principle in the genre. Second, Music for Airports marked a shift in how we think about the purpose of music. Eno wasn't just writing tunes, he was designing a soundscape, one meant to calm and soothe the anxieties for, airport travelers. He wasn't trying to tell a story or evoke a strong emotional climax. Instead, he wanted to shape the atmosphere of the space. This was music that functioned like architecture or lighting, an environment design choice. Third, the album is a masterclass in minimalism and texture. There are no drum beats, no clear verses or choruses. Instead, Eno used loops of soft piano, gentle vocal tones and slow synth lines that repeat and evolve subtly over time. That focus on mood and texture over melody and structure became a cornerstone of ambient music. Equally important as Eno's approach in the studio, he treated the recording space not just as a way to capture music, but as a creative tool in itself. He used tape loops, delays, and EQ techniques to manipulate sound in experimental ways, creating an atmosphere that feels timeless and floating. This studio as instrument mindset would go on to inspire generations of ambient and electronic musicians. He finally, let's not underestimate the cultural weight of Eno himself. He wasn't an outsider. He had already built a reputation through his work through Roxy Music and his solo projects, and of course his collaborations with David Bowie and Talking Heads. So when Ambient 1 dropped, it gave ambient music a kind of artistic legitimacy that few experimental genres got right out of the gate. In the end, Ambient 1, Music for Airports, wasn't just an album, it was a manifesto. It redefined what music could be, how it could be used, and how it could make us feel, even when we're just waiting for a flight. And that's why it remains a landmark, not just as an ambient music, but in modern music history overall. So if you haven't checked this album out, check it out. It's not your typical kind of music throw on and listen if you need something to chill out to, something to fall asleep to, just something to listen to. Just again, it's one of those things, have it on in the background and just go about your life. I'm telling you, it'll relax you for the day. I mean, honestly, I think this really was like a stepping stone for what most people will listen to fall asleep to, kind of have YouTube sounds and YouTube visuals and stuff. This was the beginning of that. So check this album out if you haven't. Let me know what you think.